CRWV stock just ripped almost 19% higher. But here's the real question. Is this just another AI hype rally? Or is CoreWeave actually getting started? Because here's where things get really interesting. Can CRWV hit 150? What about $200? And could this stock eventually make a crazy run toward $300? Sounds wild, right? But before we throw out some huge price targets, let's actually look at the numbers. And stick around, because at the end, I'm gonna give you my personal CRWV price target. First, let's talk about why investors are suddenly paying so much attention to CoreWeave. The company just reported around $258 billion in quarterly revenue. That's roughly 112% growth year over year. Yeah, that's a serious growth rate. But here's the number that really caught my eye. CoreWeave's backlog is around $104 billion, and the company also landed roughly $25 billion in additional customer commitments early in the third quarter. That's a big deal. It tells us one thing. AI computing demand is still absolutely massive. Companies need more GPUs. They need more data centers. They need more AI infrastructure. And that's exactly where CoreWeave comes in. So can CRWV hit 150? Honestly, I think $150 is totally possible. If revenue keeps growing, if CoreWeave keeps converting that massive backlog into actual sales, and margins continue to improve, I think $150 becomes a pretty realistic bullish target. But here's where things get tricky. What about $200? That's a whole different ballgame. Because strong AI demand alone isn't enough, CoreWeave also has to prove it can turn all this insane growth into real profits. And that's where investors need to pay attention. CoreWeave's business is extremely capital intensive. The company has to spend huge amounts of money on GPUs, data centers, and infrastructure. For 2026, its capital expenditure guidance is around $35 billion to $39 billion. That's a massive number. So yeah, the revenue story looks awesome. The backlog looks awesome. The AI demand looks awesome. But the spending? That's the part I wouldn't ignore. And now we get to the big one. 300. Could CRWV hit 300? In my opinion, yes, it's possible. But I wouldn't call $300 my base case target. I'd put that in the extreme bull case category. For CRWV to get there, AI demand would probably need to stay extremely strong for years. CoreWeave would need to keep landing massive contracts. The backlog would need to keep converting into revenue. And most importantly, profitability would need to improve a lot. If all of that happens, then $300 isn't completely crazy. But if AI spending slows down, growth starts missing expectations, or investors get nervous about debt and massive capital spending, that $300 target could get pushed way out. And here's the twist. I don't think the biggest risk is AI demand suddenly disappearing. The bigger question is, can CoreWeave turn this insane growth into serious profits? That's what I'm watching. So here's my personal prediction. In a bearish scenario, I could see CRWV dropping toward the $70 to $90 range. My bullish base case, around $130 to $170. And in a really aggressive bull case, I could see $200 to $250 or even higher. But if you force me to pick just one target right now, my personal bullish target is around $150 on, 200? Definitely possible. 300? Not impossible. But CoreWeave would have to absolutely crush expectations. Now I want to hear from you. If CRWV hits 150, are you taking profits? Or are you holding out for $200? Drop your number in the comments. 150, 200, or 300. I'm seriously curious where you guys stand. And if you enjoy these straight-up stock breakdowns, smash that like button, subscribe to Stock Pulse, and turn on notifications. Because with AI stocks, there's a lot of upside. But there's also a lot of risk. So don't just chase the hype. Do your homework. See you guys.